Here we have a SAT math question. There is a system of equations given over here. Which order pair is a solution to the system of equations above? Okay, now we have to solve the given system for x and y. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first equation and solve for y. So that is, I'm going to solve for y in terms of x. Okay, let me do it. X negative y equals to 1. Okay, to solve for y, I have to get rid of this x over here. For that, I subtract x from both sides. So when I do so, this positive x, negative x will cancel. I'm getting negative y equals to negative x positive 1. Okay, I need y, but here we have negative y. So better we can multiply both sides of the equation by negative 1. So negative 1 times negative y on the left side and negative 1 times negative x positive 1 on the right side. So negative 1 times negative y will become positive y. And when I distribute this negative 1 to this x positive x, negative 1 times positive 1 will become negative 1. Okay, in the first equation, I have solved for y in terms of x. Now what I have to do is I have to plug in the stuff x into 1 for y into the second equation. Okay, let me take the second equation. That is x positive y equals to x square negative 3 x positive. So for this y, now we can plug in x negative 1. So then we have x square negative 3 on the right side. Now let's simplify the expression we have on the left side over here. So that is, we have to combine x and x, and I'm getting 2x negative 1 equals to x square negative 3. Okay, now we got a quadratic equation in the variable x. Okay, now let's write this quadratic equation in standard form. That is ax square positive bx positive c equals to 0. That is, we must have everything on the left side and 0 on the right side. Okay, so now let me subtract 2x from both sides. And also let me add 1 from 1 to both sides. When I do so, this positive x, negative x will cancel. Negative 1 positive will cancel. I'm getting 0 on the left side. And x square negative 3 negative 2x positive 1. And 0 is equal to x square. Then we can write the x term, that is negative 2x. When I combine this negative 3 and positive 1, I'll be getting negative 2, or the same equation can be written as x square negative 2x negative 2 equals to 0. Okay, now I got the quadratic equation standard form. So I don't think this quadratic equation can be solved by factoring. So we have to use quadratic formula. So for that, we have to compare the quadratic equation over here with ax square positive bx positive c, and we have to get the values of the constants a, b, and c. So a is the coefficient of x square. Here the coefficient of x square is, actually we don't find any number in front of x square. So I have to assume there is 1 in front of x square. So the value of a is 1, and the value of b is the coefficient of x, which is negative 2. And c is a constant term, its value is negative 2. So c is equal to negative 2. Okay, now let me write the quadratic formula. That is x equals to negative b positive or negative square root of b square negative 4ac over 2a. Okay, now what we need to do is, in this quadratic formula over here, we just have to plug in the values of a, b, and c. Okay, let me do it. X equals to negative, the value of b is negative 2, positive or negative. Square root of b square means the negative to the whole square. Negative 4 times the value of a is 1. The value of c is negative 2 over 2 times the value of a is 1. So we get x equals to negative times negative will become positive, 2 positive or negative. And the evaluation of this negative to the whole square is 4. And negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And when I multiply negative 4 by negative 2, it will become positive 8, because negative times negative will become positive. In denominator, 2 times 1 is 2. Then I'm getting x equals to 2 positive or negative square root of 12 over 2. So x equals to 2 positive or negative. Square root of 12 can be written as 2 times 3, because 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12. And already we know that for every two same values multiplied inside the square root, one number can be taken out of the square root. So for these two 2's, 1, 2 will come out of the square root. Then this 3 will remain inside the square root. So we get 2 positive or negative, 2 times square root of 3 over 2. Okay, now in the next step, what we can do is we can factor 2 out in numerator. So if I factor 2 out in numerator, I'm getting 1 positive or negative, square root of 3 over 2. So this 2 will cancel out. So I'm getting 1 positive or negative, square root of 3. So I'm getting 2 values for x. Okay, let me erase the other stuff and continue. From our previous working, we got that x equals to 1 positive or negative square root of 3. So there are 2 values over here. So the first value we have tried with positive sign over here, that is 1 positive square root of 3. And the second value of x is we have tried the same expression with negative sign over here. Then I'm getting 1 negative square root of 3. Okay, now I got 2 values for x. Now to get the value of y, what I need to do is I have to plug in these 2 values for x into the equation over here. That is y equals to x negative 1. Already we have solved for y in terms of x from the first equation over here. Okay, now let me take the equation here. That is y equals to x negative 1. So instead of x, I'm going to plug in the first value, 1 positive square root of 3 negative 1. And again, I'm taking the same equation. This time for this x, I'm going to plug in the second value of x, that is 1 negative square root of 3, negative 1. So this positive and negative 1 will cancel. I'm getting y equals to square root of 3. Here again positive and negative 1 I will cancel. I'm getting y is equal to negative square root of 3. Okay, now I got the values of x and y. So the first value of x is 1, positive square root of 3, and the corresponding y value is square root of 3. And the second value of x is 1, negative square root of 3, and the corresponding y value is negative square root of 3. Okay, so we have two sets of solution for the given system of equations over here. So in the first set, the x value is 1 positive square root of 3 and the y value is square root of 3, and the second set 1 negative square root of 3 comma negative square root of 3. We find this particular set, that is 1 positive square root of 3 comma square root of 3 in option A. So the correct answer choice for this question is option A.